What is going on, everybody? It is Sean, or the Armchair Coach, and we are on NBA2k26 today. And I thought that the chaos that we were experiencing in our Celtics dynasty just wasn't enough chaos. So today, we are expanding the chaos. We're still using the chaos wheels we've been using in our Celtics rebuild, which if you haven't been watching, we are making significant strides. We are getting close to the championship every year despite the chaos wheel trying really hard to make it difficult on us. But I wanted it to be even more chaotic. So what we are going to do today, as you can see, we are in 2002. We are going to start playing around in the eras mode. This is one of the things that I love so much about NBA 2k26. The eras mode gives you so much replayability and an infinite number of things you can try doing. It's a lot more fun to experiment in this game than it is in football games. I really wish someday they will add something like this to Madden. I mean, obviously they can't really do something like this in college football, but basketball and college, or football being my two favorite sports, with baseball also kind of being in there. It makes me nostalgic when I play a game mode like this. But small aside now complete, we are in the year of 2002 and we are doing expanded chaos. And what I mean by expanded chaos here, as you can see on our screen, we've got quite a few things. We've got a fantasy draft set up. We are going to customize the league rules, and you will see why there. We've got the customized salary cap because the salary cap is off. So teams are going to be able to go out and make crazy trades. However, we do still have the hard cap on because otherwise, no matter what, no one's going to ever leave the team that they're on because they will just have infinite hard cap. What else do we have? We've turned off so many of the CBA rules, so trading is going to be wild, and I'm hoping with all of these, the chaos wheel and the rules that we are going to change here in just a second, when we have to pick our team, and we went with the Celtics for our modern era chaos that we did. But today I think I want to do just a random squad. We're going to pick a random team here, and the way we'll do that is we'll have the wheel decide for us. So we are on the team list, and we're going to roll and see what team we are going to control here. So today, for this video, we are going to be the Los Angeles Clippers. All right. So we'll go ahead and pick the Clippers here. And as we can see, we've got the 5th pick. So have the opportunity to start here with a great player. Who do we want, man? We've got a young and super talented Tracy McGrady. We've got Dirk. Man, Chris Webber, Vince Carter is in here. I mean, how can we not take a Tracy McGrady at 5 here with the talent that he's got? So we'll go ahead and sim on out to our next selection, so we'll have to wait quite a bit until the next time we can make a pick. As we can see, we've got 40-year-old John Stockton here. Ricky Davis is in here. Who do we pick? I mean, I'm definitely not seeing a ton of guys that we can build long-term around. I mean, we've got young Carlos Boozer there. Caron Butler and Shane Battier. I mean, Ricky Davis, what's his caps look like as far as his career? Has he got good potential? I mean, he's got some potential. So maybe we go that direction. Yeah, I think we grab Ricky Davis here. Might not build around him long term, but he'll be someone we don't have to like immediately get rid of once we start getting into the rebuild phase of this. Okay, so pick 3 here. Definitely need to find a point guard. That guy's got that Stephon Castle haircut. Who do we go with? I mean, Larry Hughes is young, but we could also just go with Andre Miller. I mean, we've got a small forward. We'll let Tracy McGrady play small forward. So we don't need anything there. We definitely need somebody in the front court, I think, at this point. Not a lot of young guys here, so I think I'm just going to shoot for Theo Ratliff. Get us somebody that's not just a complete bum before it's too late. And now at pick 4. Okay, so Tim Thomas is here. A stretch 4 in this era is incredibly valuable, so we'll come back to that. We also still need a starting point guard. So is there anybody worth taking here? Jamal Tinsley is not a great... I mean, none of the guys here are great options. Maybe we take Tiny Earl Boykins. If he's still there at our next pick, we'll take him. But I think Tim Thomas is a more valuable pickup for us right now. And I'm sure Earl Boykins is still there. He sure is. So we'll take Tiny Earl Boykins. He can shoot the 3 ball. I think that might be valuable, especially for him, who's not going to be getting a lot of inside looks at his size, I would think. I know that there were quite a few guys who were elite at that. Like, I know Spud Webb was a great inside scorer despite his size, and so was Muggsy Bogues. Okay, so we are looking for a 6th man now. And looking at the overall talent pool at this point, we are not looking at anything particularly enticing. I mean, Derek Fisher isn't a bad option. Definitely better than anything in the like shooting guard small forward area. I mean, everyone else here is not great. And then I think there are a couple of options in the power forward, like Jerome Moiso might be someone to consider. He's got B- potential. I think that's who we go with. I mean, we're looking for... I mean, Derek Fisher's still here, so we'll also take him in the next round. Definitely want guys that might develop, especially considering, obviously, the kind of chaos we're going to be subjected to, because there's no trade deadline, or we're going to make sure there's no trade deadline. So I will have a lot of difficulty keeping my roster together, because the whole season we're going to be having to do spins. So I don't know who to pick here. I think we go with... I mean, yeah, one of these guys here. I think we go with Chris Wilcox. And then, oh, Steve Kerr, my guy. Last pick before the draft's over. I mean, we'll just take Eddie Robinson here, and then we'll go ahead and let the draft finish out for us. So, before we even get the chance to enjoy the roster that we've assembled, we're going to have to spin the wheel and see how it's going to change immediately. But before we can even do that, there's a couple of settings that obviously I need to change. So I will do that real quick, and then I will show you what we're doing. Okay, so we've gone through... the only thing I ended up really changing here is some of these trade rules. So obviously the trades can go insane. And then we bumped the trade frequency up to 100. So the CPU teams will also be making deals like crazy. So the NBA as a whole will be chaos. And obviously our team's going to be even more chaotic because a wheel is deciding everything we do. Speaking of, it is time for us to spin our wheel before we can even think about doing anything with our roster. So obviously our chaos wheel has not changed from the last time we saw it. Still have not added any new effects, but obviously if you think of any new effects that you might want added to the wheel, please feel free to comment them down below. I am always looking for new ideas. So go ahead and spin the wheel. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so this is an interesting spin to start. So our starters are going to be locked into playing 20 minutes. So I'm going to set up our coach game plan, and I will show you what we got when I'm done. Okay, so this is the minutes structure for the first however many games of this season. Interesting how this worked out. But yeah, we're gonna roll with this as our starting lineup to start this year. I can't believe this is the first effect. This is hilarious in a way, also very sad. But we're gonna see how that affects things. Oh, we still have to set our coaching points of emphasis. Obviously, once again, we're playing through the stars. Shoot at will. That's correct. We want to play some physical defense. Yep, and that's correct. All right. So we now have to spin the games wheel. See how many games we've got until the next time we've got to spin. Games wheel. What do you got for me today? Okay, well, at least we don't have to do this for very many games. We're doing this for 3 games, and then we will spin the wheel again. So let's go ahead and sim those 3 games and reconvene. Okay, so despite the fact that we had an interesting starting lineup, or starting rotation minutes-wise, we still managed to win 2 of those 3 games. But we can now fix our roster and get their minutes back to what they should be, but only after we spin the wheel once again. The wheel gives, it takes. What is it going to show us now? We're trading. Oh, I have not seen this option yet. What is this? Oh, okay. Okay. All right, this is a first. So we are trading for a team's best player. This is exciting. So what team are we making a deal with? Let's go over here to the team list wheel and spin and see. This is a really interesting era of the NBA. A lot of really young and talented guys, but we have to find the best guy on the Pacers and make a deal. So we're going to go ahead and pull up their roster, and we will reconvene when we have an offer on the screen. So here's the deal. The best player on the Pacers roster is Yao Ming. He's 22 years old, so it's his rookie year, essentially. And I think what it's going to take is us having to give up Tracy McGrady. And we've got to just kind of recoup a bunch of value and then maybe acquire some extra draft capital. So what we are doing here is we are going to throw this trade at them, see if we can get 2 picks in return and a couple of decent, or 1 decent player in Michael Redd, and then Yao Ming, who's young and has all the room in the world to develop. Will the Pacers take this? So they're not objectively disinterested. If we throw you a lottery protected pick next year and this year, maybe? Okay. Maybe if we just do this deal in a pick, and we give you a lottery protected pick next year. What if we throw you a lottery protected pick this year? Interesting. I mean, I was really trying to see if we could get just a pick back, but wow. Teams are being really stingy about giving up players. You would think that Tracy McGrady, who's as good as he is, might be able to net us this player. Maybe they don't want to give up Michael Redd. Who else is on their roster that might be decent? I mean, we could bring in, maybe we do Carlos Boozer in a first. Would you consider that maybe? No, they're still not. What'll it take? I mean, they've got, like, the Pacers are in this position where they took so many guys who are very young, have a lot of room to develop. So trading for their best player, who's also himself very young, like Tracy McGrady for Yao Ming and like nobody else, I don't want to do that per se. So I mean, effectively, The deal would have to be, because there's no way like Ricky Davis and Theo Ratliff get anywhere close to him. Not even if we throw in like a couple picks. Yeah. So the only way we get close is with Tracy McGrady. And the unfortunate thing about that is, like, I don't think we get anybody else in that deal. Like, maybe we are able to maybe we're able to make a deal here. If this is, if that's the, yeah, I mean, the Pacers are being really selfish about this. Wow. It's insane. I don't have the trade difficulty up very high. I just tried to do the trade straight up, and they said, no thanks. I mean, let me see, like, is there anything they're willing to take? Yeah, so I think Yao might be untouchable for them. So we might have to spin the team wheel again and see if there's a different team that's a little bit more willing to move off of their best player. I mean, I can't be stupid about it and give up all of my draft capital, right? Like, I mean, there's literally no deal they would take. Not even if I threw Tracy McGrady and a lottery protected first next year. A lottery protected pick this year? Okay. So, Tracy McGrady and our pick this year with lottery protection on it gets us Yao Ming. I hate that trade. I hate that trade a lot. But we have Yao Ming now, and we've got to figure out what to do here. I've got an idea. Give me a few minutes. I'm gonna fix this up, and we'll feel better. Maybe, probably not. Adjusted the roster a little bit. And as you can see now, we have Theo Ratliff playing some power forward. Tim Thomas has moved up to small forward. And this is going to be the lineup now. So really, really hard to make that trade. Tracy McGrady is a great player, but Yao is great in his own right. So we're just going to have to see how it ends up affecting us this year. Obviously, the chemistry is not going to be great after making a deal like that. So it is now time to see how many games we have until the next time we're going to be tortured by the Chaos Wheel. How many games will it be, Chaos Wheel? What do we have? Okay, so we are going to get a little bit of a reprieve now, as we do have a 17-game break. So we'll go ahead and count those out and begin simming, and I will check back in with you. Okay, so we have simmed 17 games, and as you can see, we are 9-11 here. 20 games into the season. Not too bad. I feel like we might have been in better shape maybe with Tracy McGrady on our roster, but team's not playing too awful. But it is time for the Chaos Wheel to decide what we do next. Have seen some interesting things already out of the Chaos Wheel so far. What are we going to get now? Wow. So we're just gonna have to release Yao, the guy we just traded Tracy McGrady away for. Dude, there's no way. There's no way this is happening. Okay, so that's what the wheel says we're doing. So that's what we're gonna do. Coming into our roster now, we are going to release Yao into free agency. The man we just signed is now a free agent and is free to sign with whoever wants him. You can see him right there, and he is going to be a very rich man. So with that being said, we are going to now spin the wheel and see how long until the next time I destroy my roster. What do you have for me now, Chaos Wheel? Have you not taken enough? Trade for a team's oldest player. Well, I guess we're getting a good old Unk on the squad now. So I will spin the team wheel and see what we land on. Hey guys, so I made the trade accidentally off screen. Didn't expect it to go through immediately, but essentially the long and the short of it is we acquired Bimbo Coles and traded away super old Horace Grant and swapped some second round picks to make it happen. So we acquired the oldest player on the Timberwolves and got rid of our oldest player. So I think that's a pretty meh trade. Didn't move the needle, and we fixed everything up now, and it's time for us to spin the games wheel and see when we will check back in with our squad. So how many games until the next chaos effect? Oh boy. A whole one game. That's great. That's great. Alright, so let's go ahead and sim one game. Alright, we have simmed one game, which means it is now time for another chaos spin, fellas. Can we get something positive? I don't know how we can, okay. Our starters are now going to play 40 minutes. So we started this season playing 20 minutes, and now they're going to play 40 minutes. So let me adjust that real quick. So as you can see here, we have made the adjustments. All of our starters playing 40 minutes. Oh boy, I cannot wait to see how long this is going to be for. With that being said, it is time for us to head back over and see how long it will be for. Please be a short. Please be short. Oh no. So for the next 17 games, our starters are going to be... yeah, no, they're going to be exhausted at the end of this stretch. But I will count this out, and we will sim and check back in at the end of this next 17-game stretch. Okay, so another 17 games have passed. Don't ask me how, but we are not in awful shape. I don't know how we've managed to do this, but we are somehow staying in these games. I'm actually curious. I want to know who ended up signing Yao. So Yao ends up on the Wizards. Interesting. So Yao ends up on the Wizards after we had to release him. And 17 games have passed, and our starters are shortly exhausted, but somehow have kept us winning some games here that we probably wish that we aren't winning, because we want to have a good pick in this draft, especially with the talent that's in it. It's the 2003 draft. But the Chaos Wheel decides what we do. So it is now time to spin it once more and see what we are doing this time. Can we get something that'll actually benefit us? No, we can't. It would seem that we cannot get the thing that's going to benefit our team. Okay, so we have to release our best player for a second time this... Okay, so we have to release our best player for a second time. This is tough. I don't want to have to... I mean, it's kind of a toss-up between Theo Ratliff and Ricky Davis. I think Ricky Davis technically ends up being the best because he's worse because of his I can't even like get through what I need to say because I'm like so upset about it. But we have lost two of our best players on this team already because the wheel has decided that's going to be the case. So we now have to fix the roster once again, and I will check back in with you once we have everything set up. Okay, so lineup put together now. It's even worse now that we've had to release Ricky Davis. So let's spin the wheel once more and see when we are going to have to check back in with the wheel again. I mean, at this point, the team has been imploded upon itself as we're going to land out 17 games again. But the team has been imploded in upon itself. We really need to start tanking and make use of the draft pick we've got. So I will sim another 17 games and we will check back in with you soon. Okay, so as you can see on our screen, we are at the trade deadline. I don't know if we can actually turn the trade deadline off. I will experiment with that once we reach the offseason. But this is the last opportunity for us to spin the wheel this year. So we are going to do exactly that. As I can see, Ricky Davis signed with the 76ers. We need to make one last spin of the wheel for this season, I guess, until we can see if we can abolish the trade deadline. And we will see what the Chaos Wheel has to say for the last time in this season. So our starters are going to play 40 minutes, and ouch. So since we are going to have that as our last effect, I'm going to make sure we do that for a certain amount of games. I don't think our starters should be playing 40 minutes for the rest of the year. So let's see how many games we'll have to make that happen for. And then I will fix them back to the normal minutes, and we will finish out the season as they're going to have to play 40 minutes for another 15 games this year. So I will set that up in the coaching game plan, and then we will check back in at contract extensions. I don't think they're going to make any this year, but we will check back in and see what we've got to look at, and then we will see you guys at the end of the season. Okay, so it is the contract extension deadline. We're going to take a look here, and looking at the state of things, I don't think there's, Earl Boykins doesn't even want to come back. I can't blame him, and no one else even is eligible. This guy will come back, but he's also ancient. No thank you. So contract extensions done, and we've got a few more games left on the 15 games of 40 minutes per game from our guys, and then I will fix that off screen, and then I will see you guys at the season recap. Okay, we have reached the end of season recap, and as you can see on your screen, Tim Duncan is the most valuable player in this season, averaging 31, 15, and 3, and 3 blocks a game. Pretty impressive numbers. Let's see how we were looking across the league. Kobe, who's on the Magic, averaging 32, 6, and 4. Shaq averaging 29, 13, and 2. AI averaging 29, 4, and 5. Chris Webb averaging 28, 14, and 3. And then Tracy McGrady, after we traded him to the Pacers, averaging 27, 6, and 4. Really hated seeing him go, and hated seeing him leave, too. So, really rough season for us as Yao wins Rookie of the Year. He's been on 3 teams this season. Probably a wild rookie season for him. Alvin Williams wins 6th Man of the Year. Tim Duncan wins TBOY. Most Improved Player goes to Earl Boykins, but he won't be on our roster next year, so that sucks. And the Wizards are the best team in the NBA. Obviously, when you've got Yao on your roster, hard to imagine that you're a bad team. Jason Kidd, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Chris Webber, and Shaq make up the All-NBA first team. Yao makes All-NBA second team as a rookie. Jermaine O'Neal, KG, Tracy McGrady, and AI on that second team. Third team is Gary Payton, Gilbert Arenas, Dirk, Elton Brand, and Big Z, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, averaging 18, 8, and 1. Not a bad season for him. All defensive teams got some interesting suspects here. Mr. Meta World Peace run our test. Kobe's on the All NBA or All Defensive second. Kevin Garnett makes his appearance here, averaging 25, 12, and 4. Quite the score. And no love for us anywhere to be found here because we were butt booty cheeks this year. So let's see how these playoffs unfold. Do we get any interesting series in this first playoff run of this era? I'm sure these rosters have quite a bit of talent no matter what. As we can see, we've got a Game 7 here between the Nuggets of Bobby Jackson, Adrian Griffin, Shannon Anderson. I mean, Amari and Ben Wallace in your front court is really good, but, I mean, the rest of that team is not great. The Trailblazers, however, they have Big Z, Powell, and Shane Battier leading their front court and then a weak backcourt. So they're kind of almost polar opposites, or they're kind of a perfect match in a sense. So let's jump in the Simcast here and let's see how this game ends up turning out. Do we end up with a close game? It's looking no. It looks like the Trailblazers will get a comfortable win. Mari gets 17. Or which team is it? Oh, yeah. So Powell and Big Z, they combined for 55 of the 109 with their front court being so dominant. I can't imagine that the Nuggets would have been able to overcome that. So Wizards Cleveland now. So I know that Shaq makes up that Cleveland team. So they also have Kenny Thomas, Caron Butler, Jason Richardson, and Kenny Anderson, while the Wizards have Yao, Peja, and Eddie Jones leading the way, and Jamal Tinsley and Derek Coleman kind of tanking up space. Interesting team. An interesting matchup. Let's hop in the Simcast. Anything interesting going on here in Game 7? Not really. The Wizards are going to cruise by and end up in the conference finals, as we will now see who is going to face off in the first championship of this sim. As both teams are going to Game 6. The Pacers managed to close out the Wizards. Both teams who have benefited from us pretty significantly this year. Don't you just love to see that? So the Pacers end up in the finals, and the Warriors and the Trailblazers go to Game 7. So we know about that Blazers team. But this Warriors team is led by Stephon Marbury and Nick Van Exel, and that's it. I mean, Bonzi Wells, Drew Gooden, Chris Anderson are your other three players, and I cannot believe that this team is taking the Trailblazers to 7. But will they win in Game 7? They're out to an early lead, and they are blowing the Trailblazers out of the water in Game 7. So Stephon Marbury and Nick Van Exel really leading the way. I mean, holy cow, Drew Gooden and Bonzi Wells just crashing the boards for that team. And we have a Pacers versus Warriors finals. So the Pacers are now made up of Terrell Brandon, Tracy McGrady, Michael Redd, and Carlos Boozer as their kind of best four there, and Nazi Muhammad playing center. I can't imagine that the Pacers don't win the championship this year with the squad they've assembled, as they win the first two. And are we going to see a gentleman's sweep? We sure are. So the pain is pretty high seeing Tracy McGrady in that Pacers jersey win MVP. It could have been us. The Chaos Wheel decided it wasn't going to be us. And we're going to have a very different kind of offseason. So taking a look at retirements here, we've got John Stockton, Scottie Pippen retires, Michael Jordan retires. And I think that's all of the big ones. Oh, Dikembe retires down here. So we've got a big offseason ahead of us, as we've got the obvious Hall of Fame inductees and jersey retirements, historic changes. Hold on, let me see here. I want to see, because once again, there's no abolish the trade deadline, and we are going to approve that. So we're abolishing the trade deadline this year, and we will now have trades throughout the season. So now we will next year have a full season of chaos rather than being restricted by the trade deadline. I couldn't find that when we were trying to set up the dynasty, but I was able to find it there. And it is now time for the draft lottery. So, as you can see, the Pacers currently have the #1 odds to land the first overall pick. However, if you remember when we made that trade, we put lottery protection on our pick, and this is exactly why we do so. So, we will now watch the lottery. Will we end up with the first overall pick? I sure hope that our pick ends up being #1. LeBron James would take us from being a cellar dweller to a contender, I think, immediately without us doing anything else. But what are we going to get? No one's moved up or back so far. I'm getting a little bit worried. It's completely holding to form. This is insane. So the top 3 is going to be the top 3. The Bulls end up with #3. Oh my goodness. No way! No way! Oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay, so the Grizzlies end up with the first overall pick. We end up with #2. I mean, we would have been ecstatic to have the #1 pick. But this is a class where I think any pick inside the top 5 you are relatively happy with. So, with that being said, it is time for us to sim towards the draft. And we need to spin the draft chaos wheel. There are a lot of effects on that wheel that could change things for the worse, and I am now very afraid. Alright, so we've got the draft chaos wheel pulled up here, and we are going to see what it ends up deciding we are doing. Please let us have some decent luck. No. No, we have to trade away our entire draft, dude. We have to trade away our entire draft. And I don't want to. I don't want to. So let's see who's going to be able to acquire the #2 pick in this draft. It's going to be the LA Lakers. And we will now have to see what we can get from the Lakers for this pick. Okay, so this is our initial offer for our second overall pick. It's going to be Jamal Mashburn, who's their best player, a pick next year, and a pick in 07. I mean, honestly, I'm going to be really greedy, and we're going to throw 3 picks in because of how valuable this pick is. And do they take this offer? They put a counter out to us. They want Tim Thomas. I mean, I really would like to keep Tim Thomas on my roster. Okay, hold on. Is it just going to be our pick gets us Jamal Mashburn and their pick next year? Is that what it's going to be? No. They don't want that trade. Dude, how greedy can a team be? Dude, and it sucks because the Lakers have nobody of value on their roster. I mean, maybe I try to get Antoine Jameson, I guess, instead of Jamal Mashburn. He is younger, so maybe we do Antoine Jameson. And we get an 04 and an 07 in return. You guys willing to do that? No, I don't want to give you my pick. And I don't want Vlad Divac, bro. Okay. So after a ton of finagling with the Lakers, we finally end up with a deal that they're willing to take here. So it's going to be our pick. Oh, man, the Lakers are going to have the second and fourth pick in this draft. I hate it, man. I hate that we have to trade away our entire draft. Yeah, we're going to make the Lakers a super team, unfortunately. As we're going to watch them be able to take Carmelo Anthony and Dwayne Wade, dude. That could have been us. We could have had Carmelo Anthony or Dwayne Wade. And instead, we get rocks. As I'm not even going to sit here and watch the rest of this draft. I'm so upset. Okay, can I sim to the end, please? Jeez, man. Sucks. Any one of these guys would have been amazing. We're not going to get any of them. So, nobody in this draft class. We've got no team options, no qualifying offers, which brings us to free agency. We have an unlimited amount of cap room to use. Who do we go after? Lots of guys here that make a difference. I don't know why it's acting like we can't afford. Anyway. So, both of the guys that are here are super old. I mean, Jason Kidd's expecting an exorbitant amount of money. We could... I mean, once again, the chaos wheel for free agency decides if we can go after the best guy that we want to go after. What is the best guy we want to go after? I mean, Jason Kidd's 30, but he's still able to compete here. I mean, he's got huge offers from a bunch of teams. Looks like his preferred year length is 3 with a player option. He definitely wants the player option. All right, so we offer him the player option. He wants it backloaded. We'll even offer him a no trade clause. And let's see if we can throw this deal out. So, can we send this offer to Jason Kidd? Please. Oh, okay. So, once again, we only spin this once. So, the guy we want to go after most, we are not allowed to go after, unfortunately. That is how that works. So we'll have to pivot and do something else with our free agency. The point guard position to see who we could go after. And then I couldn't help but notice that Gilbert Arenas is sitting here as an unrestricted free agent at the age of 21. And we've already been rejected to go after Jason Kidd, so we have nothing standing in our way to send an offer out here to Gilbert Arenas. So we're going to offer Gilbert a contract. And, you know, honestly, taking a look at our roster here, like, I'm definitely going to release Bimbo Coles and Hubert Davis. We don't want those guys. We don't want these old guys on the roster. Clear ourselves up some roster space since we have a bunch of contracts we don't need. And then with that, we now have a more clear idea. So we're hoping that we can bring in Gilbert Arenas to fill in that point guard spot. Who do we want to try to get to play shooting guard for us this year? Ron Artest is here. Stephen Jackson. I mean, hold on. Okay, Rip Hamilton is an interesting idea. I think we send Rip Hamilton an offer. And then Tim Thomas, I think we're fine letting him continuing to play small forward for us, so I don't think we feel pressure to make a move there. And then I think the last thing we do is make an offer at a power forward here. Do we go for a Jermaine O'Neal or an Elton Brand? I really like the prospect of Jermaine O'Neal. So he likes it if we give him a player option, so we'll do that. And so we have now sent out 3 offers. We sent an offer out to Gilbert Arenas, who is somehow a free agent. We sent out an offer to Rip Hamilton, and we sent out an offer to Jermaine O'Neal. And it looks like we are going to be able to sign Gilbert and Rip Hamilton. However, it looks like, yeah, Jermaine O'Neal is going to end up on the Wizards. And now looking at the power forward market, what do we have? Unfortunately, not a lot. Carlos Boozer is here as a free agent. That's interesting. And Hito Turkoglu is also here. I think maybe we pick up Carlos Boozer. We tried to get him early on when we were trading with the Pacers. So I guess they must have let him walk. And now looking at our now looking at everything here, do we have some holes still left to fill. So oh, okay. Yeah, Earl Boykins doesn't want to come back, I guess. I understand. Alright, so I guess we go after J.R. Bremer here. And then we also have to bring in another shooting guard. So let's go for Quentin Richardson here. Just fill in the holes on our roster, and then... Okay, so we weren't able to end up signing Rip Hamilton because we ran into an issue with the hard cap. So that leaves us in a non-ideal situation at shooting guard. Is there a point guard we can bring in that maybe we throw over at shooting guard? Regardless, we will now have a better team, hopefully, next season. We just have to find someone who can play some shooting guard for us. I don't... Maybe this guy? Who can I sign, then? Oh, yeah, I can sign Steve Smith. Great. Sure, we'll sign this guy. And that'll be that. Good to know that we need to keep our eyes peeled for the hard cap, I suppose. As we see the player progression, our team takes some steps up, some steps down. But overall, I mean, Quentin Richardson gets a little bit better, so maybe we are not so worried about shooting guard. But interesting offseason. There was a lot that I learned there very quickly, as we are now going to go ahead and advance into the 2004 season, and that's where we will call it for our first episode of this Chaos franchise. Very tough start to this one. We got put through the ringer immediately here. But I still had a great time trying to figure out our way through this first season. And hopefully by the end of next season, we are in a much better spot. So if you did enjoy today's video, please leave a like, subscribe, and a comment if you enjoyed. I enjoy when you guys pop in and hang out with me while I struggle to do these kinds of things. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.